One of the first letters of love that we got is from Troy in Singapore. James Original Doll, can you please interview Ferras? He has a lot of music that I like. Can you ask him how he connected to Adam Lambert for 2009 Aftermath? James, you are good at interviewing. I am recently out as a gay man. Music helped me find strength to be my true and real self. This song is my anthem and gives me powers when I need it. Thank you, Ferras, for making the song. It is important in my life. And if I could ask a second question, how did Allison Porter get brought on that song? I like Curly Sue.
Aw. This is one of my favorite songs that I've been a part of. And I just love Adam so much, and I love Allison so much, and Eli Rise, who also wrote it with us. It's basically, it is that. It's that anthem of just like, for anybody who feels different. And the way I met Adam actually was it was like not an official karaoke place, but it was like one of these like West Hollywood strip kind of joints. Not a strip joint, but like the Santa Monica strip.
This turned into an amazing story now.
Yeah, that would be really cool. No, so there was this place, I don't remember what it was called. It was so many years ago. And they had karaoke. I remember going to this karaoke on Tuesday nights or whatever it was and getting my little drink. And this guy would always be there singing. And that was Adam. And he would just literally blow the house down. I had just never seen anything so incredible, like in front of me by just a random nobody. And I was like, this person is absolutely incredible. And that's sort of how we met, and we became friends, and we had just known each other basically from those times. We had always just really been sort of supporters of each other musically. After he got off Idol, I had recorded, I think I had was yeah, Aliens and Rainbows, my first album, had been released, and Adam was a fan of it, and he called me and said, hey, I would love to write with you for my album, and can you come and join me on this day? And I was like, yes. And at the time, literally everybody in the industry was trying to write for Adam Lambert's debut album. It was like, I mean, the emails and the calls from like humongous songwriters that through like social media knew that I was friends with him. The amount of stuff that, like, talk about hustle, you know what I mean? It's like it never ends. It doesn't matter who you are. It's like so it's like I would just be getting like a barrage, if that's the right word. I may have just made that. And so I was just like, I felt very fortunate, to already know him, to be sort of called into the inner sanctum, if you will. And I get there, and I don't remember, I had sort of known Allison also through kind of friends-ish. I don't know if we were like full-fledged like friends yet then, but Allison and Adam actually had a history of being like best friends,
I
for
didn't know that.
many years. Yeah. And so that was a cool thing about Adam. He sort of just asked his friends to kind of come and be a part of it. And Eli Rise also, who's a wonderful, wonderful piano player and songwriter, he was there as well. And we just created this beautiful song. I love Adam so much. So I never get tired of like reminiscing about that session, because it was one of my first sort of like formal songwriting sessions for another artist. I had sort of like kind of dabbled in it like a little bit, maybe had like 2 cuts or something with other artists at that point. And so that kind of like, I think, kind of launched a little bit of me as sort of having this other life as a songwriter, as opposed to just being the artist.
James, I love your interviews. You talk to songwriters about working with artists after a few years off. Can you ask Sexy Daddy Ferras making 2 fucks Adam Lambert? Is it different when Adam sings one song and then comes back years later to sing another? So we're continuing on the Adam Lambert thing, but to Chris's point, you actually got to, have a cut from his debut album, and then 6, 7, 8 years later, here you are again with a cut. So first of all, how did that? It's 2017, from 2009 to 2017, wow. 8 years. So see, trip down memory lane. Here we go. So how does that feel, first of all, when an artist years later has another cut, and then how does that feel for you to be able to once again be able to help tell a story of an artist at a different point in their life, and to your point too, your different point in your life?
Well, I think, as songwriters, we're all growing, right? And so we're all the craft sort of changes. You get better at what you do. It becomes different. You start to understand things in a different way. You start to see things differently. And so when you get to do that, it's like it's the same experience of the person that so
Hmm.
you have the sort of comfortability, you have there's not that like getting to know you kind of strangeness in the air. It's more of just like, here we are, like, what are we doing today? And so there's like a family kind of aspect to it where the pressure is kind of off, and you don't necessarily have to sort of like show up. It's just it's easier. In terms of like Adam, he's grown so much as a songwriter from when we first started working on Aftermath to like writing with him now. I've seen like so much growth like happening with him, and that's so cool. I mean, I think, and that doesn't happen because not everybody is a songwriter. There's a lot of amazing vocalists who don't write a word or sing one melody, and they're incredible, and that's that. But it's a different story, I think, when you are honing your craft and you actually become like really great at writing, when maybe that's not where you started off. I don't know if he started off writing or not. He's definitely grown so much in that respect. So, but they're all my children. They're really all my children. What song am I most proud of? Hmm. Well, honestly, I, there are so many, and it's hard to choose. But I would say that a very pivotal moment. I'm sorry to amend the question, but it really is. It's just an easier way for me to answer. It- Um, I would say that like Adam Lambert's Aftermath is probably a song that I'm really proud of. Yes, I'm proud of all of my songs, but that one was the first one that when we got the production back and I heard it, I was like, "Oh my God, like what am I
Mm.
listening to?" Very different than just the piano vocal that we had in the room that day. It came back and I was like, "This sounds like a legitimate thing." That was like an amazing thing for me. And then, that was the early days. That was 2009.
9.